you thought that Satanism or these kinds of occult groups were about freedom and liberty, right? Well, he says, no, that's what we tell the lower level dumb people. Groups like the Church of Satan aren't real Satanists, and they're kind of fronts for a higher elite connected to billionaires and very powerful people. He says at the higher levels, we understand that reality is not about freedom. It's a pure predator-prey relationship. And in this purely predator-prey relationship, he says we have the dominion and the right via nature to subjugate and destroy you in that predator-prey relationship. And so you thought all along, right, that, oh, there's just liberty, it's just freedom. No, it's not. It's a satanic New World Order.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
So they lie. Have you figured this out? They lie to you, right?
We have allowed science to replace myth and spirituality. The elite have done a great job at making it seem like the spiritual world is completely separate from the physical one.
Now what is happening is probably one of the most effective, diabolical means of propaganda. The television, the media, and people are watching that television and they believe in it. If the CNN says it, it must have happened. Powerful tool of mind control.
So a lot of people can't figure out what's going on because they won't look at, or they're deluded and blinded to the reality of a higher level connected spiritual plan that's at work in this global New World Order. There's really only two people in the world that understand that what's happening today is spiritual and that it involves a mass delusion. And who are those? It's people with Christian worldview, biblical worldview, versus people like this with a evil, self-conscious, satanic worldview. Those are really the only two people who at a high level, typically speaking, can really put all the puzzle pieces together. If you understand that this is a conscious, willed, evil plan, then it all begins to make sense.
See the actors dressed like workers, walking into the train station like robots. They raise and lower their right hands in a passionless salute to the elite whom they work for, whom they build the tunnels for, who sit in the audience watching this very performance. Then the first train car enters. This feels reminiscent of the unsuspecting people who were herded like cattle to their demise in concentration camps during the Holocaust, obedient to authority until the point of death. At some point they realize they are headed for the slaughter, but it's too late and there's no way out. The workers have served their purpose, and now they are to be exterminated, their souls sacrificed.
Christianity has so weakened itself that most people in the West no longer actually believe the stories of the Bible or Christianity, and yet they have the vague Christian morals. And so he makes this interesting argument that if Christianity isn't true, and most of the normies in the West are basing their, quote, morality on a purely pragmatic pseudo-Christian basis, which isn't true, he says then you don't actually have a reason to disagree with his hedonistic, pleasure-based, destructive morality. If God doesn't exist, if the Bible's not true, then there's not really a reason for the Western ghost of Christianity, ethics, and morals that it has, right? But if the religion is true, then we do have a basis. We have to at least admit that the Satanists are a little more adept at least understanding the reality of the spiritual realm than most of the Christian world, and that's precisely why Christianity is on the decline in the West and is losing, because we're allowing these degenerate, evil people, through our complicit, willful acquiescence, to rule over us.
Another train comes into the station. This train holds the enlightened man. He is alone, apart from the crowd, one of the few in a sea of ignorance. He desperately tries to destroy the infrastructure, but cannot because it is too large for him to take on alone. He is imprisoned by chains. Like a man who understands the truth in a world of people telling him he is crazy, he looks driven mad. The train is led by ignorant workers who probably think of him as a misfit rather than a fellow human.
This is the new deception. And so this order, this order that some people speak about is an order that would have religion on the side. People who believe in God, you consider to be an ignorant person, a backward person. It also glorifies race and nationalism. It also promotes class divisions. There's the rich and the poor, and it seems like in many countries, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That is what we see on the outside. On the inside of the people's hearts, they are being deceived into the love of the life of this world. And I think this is one of the greatest parts of this new world order, is that it is a confusion. It is a fantasy world being promoted to you. It is an international Disneyland, which is being propagated to the people of the world. So you think that that's what the world is. You think that everything will be okay if you live in a certain way, if you eat certain foods, if you act in a certain way. This is ghurur. It is deception.
Now, whether you believe that or not, doesn't really matter. You may think this is all nonsense. Oh, I don't believe any of that nonsense. That's crazy. But these people believe it, and they act upon it. This is their worldview. And they have a lot of power. They have a lot of money. And they see you as sheep to be trampled upon.
We are leading each other by the hand into the furnace. As long as the elite look at the masses like the masses look at cattle, wouldn't they be willing to do to us as we do to the animals?
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.